Hello, everyone. It's Sensei Christopher here, and this is your Sirius Joy Alive. We're live streaming right now on many platforms, coming to you to talk about so many things. We've got some readings, live readings today, so if you want to have a reading, you still have a chance to do that. We're also going to talk about Gwen coming in tomorrow, and we're going to talk about some things that regard to the full moon. That full moon was gnarly. We'll talk about that inside. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoytv. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The Sirius Joy nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few.
Aloha! I'm Mary, and I'm inviting you to experience the mystical world of the tarot with me. As a tree-hugging dirt worshiper, a retired wildlife biologist, and a sprite of the forest, my readings take you into the realms of elemental creativity to unearth a deeper awareness for those big decisions that you have in life. The first 50 viewers to email me with the coupon code below and book a reading will receive 50% off that reading. Can't wait to see what the cards have in store for you. Mahalo nui loa.
At Hair Intelligence, we believe that every strand of hair has its own voice and needs. By combining ancient wisdom with modern biochemistry, we create pure, organic solutions that work in harmony with your hair's natural biology for optimal hair health naturally. By choosing simplicity, sustainability, and science-backed natural solutions, we help our clients transform their hair, whether it's repair, regrowth, or simply radiant, healthy manes they seek.
All of her products have completely changed my hair. I like to call it magic in a bottle. So if there's one thing that she knows, it's hair.
Before using Karen's products a few years ago, I struggled with various hair challenges, including alopecia, and now I've overcome them, and I've just fallen back in love with my hair.
Get your best hair with clean, organic products that are catered to your hair's unique health and longevity. Get 20% off your first purchase at Hair Intelligence by entering code SiriusJoy20 at checkout. Rediscover your hair's true potential.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Sirius Joy Alive, where it's good to be alive. I'm Sensei Christopher Witecki, here to broadcast to you, I don't know how many times a week. Really setting up for quite a tradition. We'll be talking about that today. We just had a full moon last night. And by the way, it is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. I had to think about that for a second. Energetically, have you felt it? Has things felt a little off? It's because we had a full moon in Leo. And at first, I got to say, usually the moon apex, when the moon is crossing and it's going its highest point, I usually can feel it. I can feel it. I'm just touchy, right? Just little things set me off. It's usually how I do it. Now, this is my rising sign and my moon sign both. So you would think that it'd multiply even higher, right? Because it's near its home. During the actual apex, things were calm. So calm for me, which maybe is what programmed the moon for me, which is good. But then after, the aftermath that's been hitting, it's been crazy. I mean, we're talking about deaths in the family, major breakups I'm finding about, accidents, people going to the hospital, people, just lots of major heartbreaking story changes. Heartbreaking. But also not surprising in every case. I'll say that too. In every case, predictable in some regards. So it's not like we were taken by surprise with these different events. But, let's first of all be nice to each other today. And I'm sure we already had today or not. But next couple of days, humans just need a little love with each other and also with yourself. That's what we need. Because that's really going to solve a lot of things. We don't realize how simple the equation is to correct things. It's really love. It really is. Now, that said, we are moving on into Aquarius. And what this has to do is the fact that we are ready to go to the next level. Frankly, it's an upgraded frequency. from what I understand that the premise of this, you can talk spirituality, you can talk about being good or being evil, being, doing good things or making value in your life. But at the end of the day, ascension comes down to frequency and the frequency speeding up, which is exactly what happens whenever we get higher cell phone frequency. We get a new cell phone, we're at 5G now, right? So cell phones are at 5G. Reality is at 3, basically 3. And that means that everything on earth runs through a certain system of frequencies, a bandwidth of spiritual frequencies, if you will. And in this bandwidth, we have basically consciousness ourselves. We have learned, we are now at a point where we are trapped within a certain level and our souls are ready to go to a higher level where we can experience more things, have more power, if you want to call it that, have more awareness of everything that happens, to experience more. And that includes more joy. And it also includes less pain. In fact, no pain. Pain is not necessary, really. No hurting is necessary. Murder is not necessary. None of these things that happen to our life is necessary. It's actually all the human race gone awry, frankly. And not in this lifetime, way, way, way back. And we'll talk about that also coming up through our show. But today, I just want to focus on the simple of what we want to prepare for tomorrow. I mean, that's what the basis of this show is. It was a step 13 day. We're now at step 14 as we broadcast at the moment. This means that our mind is the ruling state of awareness. That means that our thoughts are very loud, louder than usual. It means you'll find yourself trailing off and going into down paths of thinking and have to pull yourself back because the mind is the part of us that is most aware right now. So we're most aware. So we're most aware of our thoughts. In that sense, there is a ruling, so to speak, or a guide from the step system that tells us the best way to manage this particular step 14. And the best way to manage it is this. It has to do with the formula. So the 1 in the 14 is love, particularly self-love. So take self-love, says the formula, and put it where it belongs. What it basically means is that the only thing we do forward is where our heart belongs. In this 24-hour period, only do where your heart belongs. Now, you may also question, where's my heart belong? Well, your heart belongs where it's happy. I know, kind of common sense, right? Your heart belongs where it's accepted, where it feels safe, where it can thrive, where it can be creative and have fun. That's where your heart belongs. And so it's up to you as a puzzle, solver to see in your life what's being offered. And at least of today and of tomorrow, choose the path of where your heart would prefer and see what happens. Now, here's where it gets tricky. It gets tricky because your heart may prefer to take the day off. Your heart may prefer to do a lot of things that you just can't, you say. Well, I say for this one day, says who? Says who? Well, who's going to control our life anyways at the end of the day? So you'll find that somewhere tomorrow, you'll come up against a wall where you can follow your heart or not follow your heart. And you technically could get away with following your heart, but you don't want to mess anything up or piss anyone off or all sorts of things you don't want to have happen, but you're not listening to what you want to have happen. That's really the difference. And so give it a try. I'd like to know what happens. So we got so much to do. First of all, how about reading? We saw readings on the show, and I'm getting excited. It's really getting into a groove now. First of all, we're seeing cool trends among people getting readings. That's interesting. Lots of 24s right now. Big 24 theme, step 24 theme. And we're also starting to get, a real feel of the community finally, and where people are. It's same thing. It's kind of the same question over and over again. So far, it's been, what's next? What's next? What's happening next? What's my life path? Now, this isn't really an opportunity for you to ask your life's purpose, but this is a great opportunity to ask where you're stuck. So if you're stuck somewhere like, oh gosh, this way or that way, well, bring it on. This is what astrology does, because it'll tell you fundamentally what's having to change. And then you actually interpret in your life how that applies to your life. That's one thing about astrology. It's both interpretations, both the astrologers and the clients. So if you'd like to purchase a reading, come down to siriusjoy.shop. And we've got explanations. And if you get your money in now, I've been talking to you maybe in a few minutes. That's kind of cool, huh? All right. So today we're happy to say that tomorrow is our Tag Team Tuesday. Our guest tomorrow will be Gwen English. Gwen is our principal of Sirius Joy Academy, and she is really doing a phenomenal job, I have to tell you, in the company. Like, she's been here for about 2.5 years, and she's now in a place where she is guiding us in our ethics and our morals, because she's a step 21 Scorpio. So the girl knows where the line is, you know what I mean? And has education behind it. So her contribution behind the scenes has been remarkable in the sense of helping us build all this fundamental criteria for where the line is. By the way, my weakness, the thing I'm worst at. So it's nice. And then she herself is an amazing artist. And she's got a couple of things. One, her Heartspeak Oracle class is coming back And our next semester at SiriusJoy.academy, and this, if you don't know, is an opportunity to have your own tarot deck made, but not tarot, it's an oracle deck, but it's based on love and self-love. So every day you're listening and digging around your heart, and then you're building a card for that day, for that step number. And so at that day, you have this part of your heart. And so basically after all the whole tarot is done, you have this whole tarot deck of all your different heart's memories, right? And so you then shuffle and ask your heart questions to the deck. Is that not genius? It's a genius thing. It's really cool. And you make it yourself with collage. So she's an art teacher. She helps you. Whenever you get in your creative self, you get in your spiritual self. And that's one thing about Gwen that she's always taught is that that spirituality is creativity. It's the same thing. It's creation. So as an art teacher growing up, she's always helping people get more creative and get into their art, because her thought was this is a good kind of sneaky good way to get people back on their spirit. So you'll hear from Gwen tomorrow. She'll be doing the tag team meetings with me, and you'll see us work together because we've been working together for 30 years, actually. Just as friends, you know, quite often I have a client that's stuck. If I'm stuck in a really deep thing, like I would consult her. Like, what do you think? You know, like in the teacher's lounge, like, what do you do with this particular one? What would you say? And you'll see, you'll get that kind of guidance too. And she's out of her own practice for readings and everything else. So that's tomorrow. Be sure to tune in. Now, little thing, tomorrow's show will actually be an hour less. So we have 1 hour with Gwen and pretty much Gwen because we have special meetings. And so this happens and we just can't get around it being a small company. We either, take us off the air or, we hire, many babysitters. And I'm looking forward to it. Let's talk about today one little thing, and that has to do with the focus of today to tomorrow, because I'm just kind of start the show always with this now. You see, we're finding our groove, by the way. We're trying to figure out how the show should be, and it's finally starting to settle into, okay, this is the groove. One thing I always want to do is set an intention at the beginning of the show, just kind of about what tomorrow's about, because I think this is partly a coaching show. This is a coaching show in the sense of preparing tonight to have a better tomorrow, right? And living one day ahead, which I think is part of the ascension process. You got to get farther and farther back from how you usually operate from the present so that you can show up to the present with having been pre-sent, right? Thought about a lot. But tomorrow, I think today is the step 14. It's about going where their heart belongs, but mostly it's about our mind. Our thoughts are either useful or not useful. And a thought in your mind, you might think is a random thing, but it's not. It's coming from another place. I believe it's being sort of drawn and attracted to you. So we're kind of all connected to God's mind. And when we have a certain vibe, we should start drawing in thoughts from, I think, Creator. I think these are originally Creator's ideas. And we draw them in and then we toss them around and have conversations with them in our head, kind of like we have conversations with AI. And then we derive, opinion. Now, opinions, according to step 14, do not come from the mind. Opinions come from step 14, where the heart belongs, one of the four. And so a lot of our opinions in the world about our life are not based on what our heart says. They're based on what we think. And those thoughts have been a collage of thoughts have come in that we've either edited or not edited, or talked to someone about or not talked to someone about. And so we operate with this like false operating system that's not based on the heart, that's not being governed by anything. And that's one of the biggest reasons we have issues in the world today. So I say all that because tomorrow you can try it out. If you move forward tomorrow for 24 hours, like a challenge, following your heart and seeing what your mind says, I'd like to know what you had to say. In fact, I'd like to have some people come on the show and tell us what they thought, how their mind changed and how their thoughts changed or didn't change, just to share, because I think it'd be fun and interesting, and it's an important moment. We're preparing for higher vibration. Let's take a quick break, and I'll be right back. Hello, Aquarius, and welcome now to your birthday period, week number 2. Well, it's going to be a fabulous week for you. Happy birthday. If I haven't said so before, very proud of how you've come along. For you this week, it has to do with breakthrough in your personality and your behavior. See, you are not really behaving the way your heart believes you should. You are doing it according to the way you should of society standards, but not based on your heart standards. And so as a result, there might be a little bit of a temper tantrum or a breakdown in a long-term relationship with that full moon in Leo. Could be a total showers, chance of anger, but it will leave you understanding where you belong in relationships altogether and how they are tied to a personality change. So expect to make an innovation in your personality, which is going to lead to a shift in your relationships and the roles that you play in all of your relationships. It sounds like saying chips. Now, that said, your Uranus direct for you is a big deal because it means that home family life is now going to move forward. If you were, for instance, considering building a home before COVID and then stopped, or perhaps you've been wanting to move closer to family or get the hell out of Dodge away from family, but you're basically aiming for a construction project that makes you feel priceless at home. It's very important to feel priceless at home. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoytv. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified, so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The Sirius Joy nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram, X.com, and Facebook, just to name a few. And a world citizen, and also a father, and a friend, and also a dingbat at times. I'll tell you that right now. I think everyone as humans makes dumb mistakes. And not even dumb mistakes. That's not even fair. My heart hurt when I said that just now. It's not even dumb mistakes. It's just that if you just like maybe pay more attention or slow down or, just give yourself a little bit more of a break. I don't think we're really dumb. I think we actually don't give ourselves a break at all. That's part of the problem. I mean, even when we're off, on vacation, people are sitting there criticizing themselves. We all know that. So we got to stop that. Let's have some fun. That said, why don't we dive into, I think right now we're going to do a reading, right? Yeah. It's time for a reading. No, I can't see the thing. But let's do our first reading. It'd be great. Click into my higher self. Oh gosh, I love it when there's like a theme to me. Of course, I'm a numbers freak, and Sun, Leo, 21. Well, I'm a step 21 moon Leo, so I'm part of your royal family. Your Majesty. Rising Scorpio at 25, step 25, so that's a spiritual rising, and a moon of Leo at 20. I gotta say, so far, the people writing in are all high vibration light workers so far. This is a teacher, basically a Scorpio rising at the master spiritual level, and then a moon loving. This person can love. Muffy can love people at the master level too. Question 1. I have felt stuck for years now. I feel a change coming. What is the key to unlock this new life quickly? Feel like I'm going too slowly, falling behind with money, taking the hard road unnecessarily, and ready for things to click into place. Okay. Well, a few things here. First of all, Muffy, you are a master step 21 Leo, and you have to know that like when you're a master, you're used to everything working out all the time. You're used to things just pretty much gliding. Your life glides easy. It comes easy for you, so people think. I mean, it took a long time for you to get to that place where you could actually perform at this level. Your soul had gotten to that level before this lifetime and already learned how to perform at this level. And so you're used to things sliding pretty nicely. And by the way, that's when you really are in touch with yourself and you love yourself and you apply these principles, life does breeze by. It does for everyone. It's all built that way. But we have to learn how to skate in it. So you've learned. So what's happened right now is the universe has given us a first time in any lifetime on Earth. This is the first time this has happened. This is the first time this has happened on Earth. First time. I was going to say the United States, where consciousness has said, okay, that's it. We're done with this level. Let's go up. We're ready to take it to the next level. And I think they knew it was always coming. I think it was always in the plans. I think it was always in the mathematics of even the Earth and the Big Bang and how it's going to spin. Like it was calculated to that crazy point, I believe. But at this point, also, the human race does this thing where they basically say, it's time to wake up. It's time to stand up and wake up. Now, we had gone to sleep for all kinds of reasons we can't talk about now. But the point is that to wake up, you've got to slow down. There's no way you can wake up fast. You just can't. Too many things going by, too much distraction. So I found for me, I was frustrated. I'm a guy that wants to fly and run. And so, pre-COVID, I pretty much slowed down. For 5 years, I slowed down, like to a very slow pace. I hated it. And it was a Pluto line on my astrocartography. So my Pluto lines, life just felt like it was going to die. But in that slow motion, I was seeing fundamental issues in my life that I had missed because I was too busy racing forward. And the reason I was racing forward, by the way, is my Chiron wound. I was afraid I would miss the bus. I had a past life feeling I was afraid I was miss the bus, basically, miss it all. So I was just obsessed about go, 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 right? It wasn't even ego success in the sense of, king of the world. It was just like, I'm not going to lose this time kind of thing. So you and yourself, we've all had to slow down now. Recently, what is happening now is like the last year and a half as Saturn and Neptune were in Pisces, the whole world had to slow down and get deep with their spirituality and their patterns and their emotions and their depth. So while the world was tripping over everything from, President Trump and all the way to, the vaccines and the virus and all the things we've gone through since then, all that stuff going on in society, inside ourselves, we had actually slowed down. In fact, it was COVID that made us slow down technically. And we slow down. And a lot of people, once they slowed down after that 60 hours a week thing, they sort of came to a point where they're like, why am I running? So a lot of people naturally just slow down anyways. That slowing down is the reason why you're slow now. It's to find those pieces that you haven't seen yet, get to the very depth of who you are in a subtle, subtle way, because it's about to speed up. And the thing is, if you don't get to the bottom of it right now, it's going to speed up and you're not going to feel like running. Because even though the world goes fast, you hadn't figured out the puzzle. And so you're going to be having a hard time running. So running shouldn't be a hard problem, by the way. It should be a lot of easy. It should be easy and it should have natural energy because it's inspired. I need the question back up, please. I'm a long-winded guy, but it's also a phenomenal question for everyone. So a lot of people, your question is, what is the key to unlock this life quickly? The key is to listen to your heart. That's it. If you listen to your heart on every step of the way, you'll know exactly what's wrong. Every step of the way. Your heart has the answer for absolutely everything and always does. And it's so simple, guys. It's not about getting your own way. Your heart either loves it or it doesn't. And you know what? You can love something. When we think love, we think perfect. It's perfect. It's the best of the world. That's not what love is. Love is not the best of the world. Love is the one you love. It's very different. It's actually probably not the best of the world. It's the one you love. And so the only way you can find the one you love, which you're going to naturally attract, is to listen to your heart and ask your heart for advice on everything. And if you do that, you'll get quickly. So you're moving slow because you're not asking your heart. You're thinking about it. The mind doesn't have the answer. If it did, you know it now, right? It doesn't. All right, second question. Wait, I didn't finish the first. Go back there. Quit pushing me. So funny. Let's see. Flying back, taking a little. Okay, I just want to make sure I had all covered that. Yes. The truth is, it takes a long while. So the last thing I'll say on this question is, we have never cleared you're a master on all three levels. So you have never cleared any of your stuff out at the deepest level. You have built around all these wounds. And although it works and you're a master, you're not as efficient as you could be because you've got these old things, these skeletons, if you will, that just need to be removed, which is like to let it all go and to forgive it. So you're being made into more of a spiritual athlete, and it's going to take some time, but we're almost done. Like the whole country is almost done. The whole world's almost done. Once we hit Aries, it's on. All right. I'm ready now. Question 2. I have some health problems that I want to eliminate, and they feel like a direct manifestation of my mindset and lifestyle. How do I heal these issues? Well, these are great questions. Almost like, did a producer write these questions? Do these people exist? Because it's perfect questions. Well, a couple of things. First of all, your Scorpio rising at 25, step 25, means that you have reached a level where you're the highest spiritual authority in your world at that time. So you've been the highest spiritual authority. You have been the highest priest or priestess. You have been the highest, whatever came from as religion. Maybe it's the wizard, but whatever it was, you were the highest. So you are used to taking on that responsibility because it's a rising sign. It's like, it's no big deal. I can be the highest of spirituality any day of the week. You also have like step 21 Leo, which means you've been high royalty or highly loved, highly taken care of and pampered. And you're used to your heart having a lot of what it wants all the time too. In fact, your moon also is in the same sign and conjuncts your sun. So your heart and emotions are very excited about how great you are and how great life is. But here's what I'm getting at. The ultimate problem is that you, with that 25 and Virgo on the other side, it's in the 7th house, you are very spiritually awesome to others, but you're not forgiving to yourself. The Virgo on the 7th house cusp says that you are critical of yourself. You hold yourself for all these details and all these things, and always criticizing yourself. And to some degree, that's where the church maybe corrupted you, was that it was okay to nitpick so you can get in heaven, and you're still playing that game where you can nitpick. But regardless, you're very hard on yourself. So, the issues you're having with health is that. What I pick up psychically is you're beating yourself up. And your body's like, okay, this is what we want to be, is beat up. And it's interpreting it that way. So ultimately, this comes from self-forgiveness and just self-compassion. You just kind of be nice to yourself and let everything go. And it's okay. And just be easy. And I think a lot of your, at least symptoms of your issues will start to go away right away. Am I getting a clock right now? Oh my God, we're going to still have a meeting after this. I think that's it for that one. You're going to be okay. Part of it might also be you're clearing karma with having been sick. So if you've been sick in past lives and that's part of the stuff you're having to let go of, it's the fact that you have gotten sick, not really that you are sick. Next. What's next for me? Okay, son, have you noticed, guys, this is like the third Gemini question of what's next for me. Like what's next? All right, Gemini sun, 12 degrees. You are a natural born student. You absorb information, but you have no opinion on anything, says you're rising at 0 degrees. At least that's what we think. And the Grandmaster moon at 2 Aries. So very passionate and self-aware. What's next for you is brilliant ideas. So I think after Gemini's, this is for the whole Gemini race, after Gemini race actually upgrades their emotional feelings and their self-worth, which is where Jupiter is in Cancer right now, sometimes around June, July, Jupiter goes in the house of thinking. And so you're about to get a huge rainbow burst of creative thinking coming into the mindset. And it's not just creative thinking. It's that you're going to be released from your own prison. What? That's right. A lot of your prison is actually your feelings. You are in your mind all the time trying to figure out how to feel about things. I'm talking about all Geminis. And the problem is that feelings don't resolve themselves by thinking about them. Feelings resolve themselves by nurturing them, caring for them, hugging them. And so you're literally not even near the patient. And so once you are more patient with yourself and become more mindful, you're going to then calm down and ground yourself more than you have been. And when that happens, you're going to then be free to think freely. Because right now you're under captive. Your mind is going on cycles and cycles, not loving life. And not loving life for a lot of reasons. But mostly you've given too much power to the mind itself. Geminis are not the mind. You're not the mind. You just love to think. You love that more than anything else. It's a fun thing to do, but you're not the mind. Just like I'm not the steak as the Taurus. So going forward, what's next for all Geminis? You guys are about to get creative. And because you're good at thinking, who knows? I think your imagination is going to turn on and we're going to see some really cool inventions, ideas, all sorts of things coming out soon in the public because you guys are getting fertilized. Hope that helps. Where's the clock now? Fine with. Step 15 Virgo sun. So that's a Libra in Virgo. Mindful of the heart, 5 to the 1. So hopefully this is a Virgo that's at peace with himself and not actually they're not. They appear peaceful, but inside they're constantly freaking out about if they're peaceful. Rising is Leo. That's great. 0 degrees. Man, all these 0 degrees, a lot of zeros coming in. A lot of magic people. And moon in Aries. At 11. Like 11 is the healing. That's a healing moon right there. A self-healing moon. What does my chart say in store for me in 2026? Big shifts, career, love, location. I love it's multiple choice. Things to look out for, avoid, or to look for, attract. Well, let me just think in general. I'm going to kind of go into Virgos in general, but with the Leo rising, which I know very well, I have Leo rising. I'd say for the Leo risings, Virgo, ultimately, you are here to make money, first of all. But having sun in Virgo and rising in 0 Leo, your sun is like literally halfway through your second house. So you're here to be productive. You're here to make things, manifest things, bring things into reality. Well, we're about to change all things because we're about to discover that there's poison in everything. There's poison in all the manufactured goods. There's poison in all the land. We poisoned everything. And I'm not trying to scare everybody. I'm trying to say, so therefore it has to all be remade. Everything has to be remade. It has to be rebuilt. And that's going to be one of the things we realize, that we screwed up as a species and let this happen. Now, we all knew, some of us knew it was happening, but humans weren't really valuing that kind of part of life. And now it's time to. So my point is, you've got a limited future. I mean, it's just like, you're going to manifest anything. I mean, you're a manifest specialist. So some of this is going to come because the world comes to you in need. And you wouldn't have seen it come. You need, like, you're a Virgo, like, give me a problem. You need a problem. So the problems will come to you and you're like, you'll think of something. And I think you're going to process it. I think it's pretty, what you do. The other aspect to know too, you want to talk about, so Saturn has been in your 8th. So you've been like changing boundaries really hard. And now you're going to really start to apply those change boundaries to new philosophies. So it's like, well, if I'm not fighting the boogeyman all the time, I'm not afraid of this. And then you start to reorganize, then I don't need to. And so there's a lot of personal philosophy building going on for you. And this is you, because you have this is for Virgos. This is for Leo, the Leo risings. Okay. Leo risings, you have a lot of philosophies to change, education to put out there, content to make. If you're a teacher, you have a lot of content to make. And that's kind of coming around the corner as well too. You're about 3 years from the kaboom year where your career just skyrockets. So get all the study you can in now, because it's coming without a doubt. All right. If we do that, we did it. Yay. All right. So, okay. Nanda? Yeah. It was so simple. I was like, could not be that simple. Nanda. Just like it sounds. Nanda is a step 14. Well, it's your step day today. It's your step day. Today's a step 14 day. Now, by the way, we woke up to a step 13 day and turned 14 in the middle of the day or sometime in the day, depending on where you live in the United States or in the world. But you're step 14 Aquarius. And so funny you're attracted on your day. All right, cool. And so this is a 14-degree Aquarius sun. So you're an opinionated Aquarius, right? 14 is making the opinion. So the opinionated Aquarius and 10-degree rising in Aries. So a soldier with self-worth rising. And 8-degree Taurus moon. So a very determined, knowing what you're worth. Yeah, interesting. But actually that Taurus moon goes in the very high heavens of your first house. So very charismatic, person who can, you're lucky for being an Aquarius that you have this Taurus moon right on your first house, because it allows you to be very personable and down to earth when you're nothing but. Just kidding. Here's a question. I'm exploring my prenatal lunar eclipse at 23 Pisces and a prenatal solar eclipse at 9 Libra. Okay, got it. How might these eclipses describe recurring themes or intentions my soul is working through in this lifetime? That's a good question. Leave it up there. Oh, the ruler of my 12th Neptune is at 19 Sag. Oh, shit. You were like born the year I was, probably. All right, so 9 Libra. No, we're not born the same year, but similar cycle. Prenatal is 23 Pisces. All right, so I'm looking at the Aries rising. So I know that the lunar eclipse is actually, so the lunar eclipse is actually falling in your 12th house, which means that that's about learning and having conversation with God. And it's about connecting to developing your own opinion about God this lifetime, your own view of God, your own viewpoint. Like, you're not going to borrow a religion. You're not going to borrow mine, my ideas. You're going to, have your own conversation with God and even take it to some major conclusions. So it's like a very philosophical, conclusive lifetime about God. And you have to do that. You have to kind of go into life with an opinion. So even if you're in your mind going, I don't know all the answers, so far, what do you think? Like, you need to know so far, what do you think all the time? Because you're developing literally the whole integration of spiritual consciousness into your daily life. And with an Aries rising, you've been a soldier. You've been like doing more of the hands-on stuff. Prenatal solar eclipse at step 9 Libra. Okay, so that is basically right in the final degree of lifestyle in the 6th house. So this tells me that, you have this past life ability to really get along with yourself. Now you may go, so what? I don't get along with myself. So it's like getting along with yourself as an athlete, as a performer. A musician gets along with himself in a really good way. Like, anytime someone performs, they like really get along with themselves. They've made friends with their body and their spirit, and their soul, and they've dedicated towards a goal. So you have that in the past life that's kind of helping you. And so what's interesting is that, of course, we have been moving forward in Pisces and Virgo. The nodes go through this area. And so you are continuing to develop, in some ways, move forward with the new Libra energy, because we are ultimately still, how do we put this? Because of Chiron and Aries on the other side, on Aries, we're inevitably still rewriting Libra to the core. And so when it comes to this eclipse, how you live your life, in other words, is kind of being reinvented altogether on a Libra level. And so that's where a lot of, I think, issues are. Your lifestyle. I think your lifestyle is going to go through some more changes, because you are going to develop what fair is and what balance is under new definitions. And I think that you're upgrading definitions to be more sophisticated. But I also think to some degree, with all that Aries energy, because 9 Libra is an Aries energy, and you have an Aries rising. So you have a lot of Aries pushing on you. And so the new Aries has got to, instead of the Aries pushing in the world, the Aries has to be rerouted to like give yourself strength and support yourself. So you're coming underneath and supporting yourself with Aries instead of going out in the world and supporting the world. So you've got to rewire this part of yourself right now before Aries. Okay, so you want to get that before Aries. So just change all your habits to focus on taking care of you and moving forward. And that's the biggest thing that's to expand right now. Over a lifetime of conversation with God. All right, so we do commercial, and then we also have a Gemini clip here. We want to talk about the Geminis. We're sharing some of our clips from our shows because we're trying to theme together, a cohesive message to the whole network, basically. And Gemini is interesting. We just had a Gemini conversation right there, talking about Geminis. And Geminis are in an interesting place, because Geminis really are in a place where they're about to step into a huge role in society. You guys have been quiet for many decades because of your own development. And that means we haven't really been having a lot of public conversation and good thought as a species, because y'all have been kind of in hibernation. But here's the start of the Gemini horoscope for this week. Hello to the Geminis, and so am I. Aquarius is going to be an interesting time for you, because you are now finding a higher life purpose. Overall, that is what Aquarius is for you, is to discover the truth of reality. Because if anyone is stuck in the dogma of what is, it's Gemini and their thinking. You literally are about us memorizing and keeping things on a certain mental track. But the universe says it's time to innovate the way you believe and how you believe. And that means you're going to have to innovate your mouth. The full moon is going to be some sort of a breakdown, probably saying something that you shouldn't have said, loose lips, sinking ships, that sort of thing, or perhaps just killing you on the inside. You have to keep your mouth closed when you really want to speak your true opinion. You might be stuck at an in-law family function, for instance, and not be able to talk about the truth about what you believe because you don't want to upset the in-laws, something like that. But the breakdown will mean just that. It will mean that you will have to let it out. You'll have to speak and communicate to what your heart believes. And this leads to your weekly mantra, which is, my heart believes I have the most interesting things to say. My heart believes I have the most interesting things to say. And that's true. So funny. I look at those pictures that I see me everywhere for promos, and it's like that day I looked really weird that day. I just like the whole day. It's like, that's not, it's funny how you look a certain way one day and not the next. And you know, they might say that's just karma. And we have a great program coming up here at Sirius Joy called 40 Days of Past Lives and Karma. And right now, I could not think of a better time than now to maybe participate in this. You guys, this is a great way to prepare for what's coming, which is this scattering of energies and scattering of voices. You know, the great transition that we're going to go through is going to be noisy and just full of so much politics, rhetoric, everything. And people probably mad and passionate in the streets about certain things, wanting to talk to everyone about it, even though maybe you don't want to talk about it. So people will all be in this frenzy. And the thing is like, it'll be very hard to not get sucked in and take it personally if you don't know who you are and the deepest self, if you don't know who you are, and if you don't know where you come from, and if you don't know the lives you lived. When I first started on this process, I didn't know if I believed in past lives at all. I wasn't sure. I didn't give it much thought. I didn't care. And I was one of those people who's like, well, this is the life that counts. This is the life that matters, which you can't deny. But you know, in that time, I was getting good at reading the moment anyway. So it was part of that development of the moments to read the moment. But then I started having past life memories just come without asking. And when that happened, I was like, wow, that little daydream, it's like a daydream. It's like you're just staring at something very casually, like any other time in your life when you're just sort of like not paying attention to where you are, but you are. Kind of like meditation, where you're just kind of staring into space, even at the computer, maybe waiting for something to load on the internet or something. You're waiting for something. In that moment, suddenly a movie plays. It's like a movie, but it's not like a movie. It's basically like for me, it comes right over here. Like I have Google goggles on, like it's an image is like put right here. So I can see my life and I can see it at the same time. And I have to choose which one I look at, but you don't choose. You go right to that weird cartoon in front of you. And for me, it was sepia. It's always sepia, like Western colored, which I think is just a sign from my soul. Like, hey, sepia. That means, means there's a past life thing. There's like a coded thing. I think everyone has their own codes they built in their, in the game. And anyways, it comes over. And the thing is, you see like, I don't know, I see like 2 seconds of footage. That's it. Like 2 seconds. And in that 2 seconds, I can feel as if I was living there 2 seconds. It's like I literally go back to a life. Now I'm observing clients too. I observe theirs. I go into their past lives and like, whoop, look at it and come back. Just that 1 minute, I'm fully aware of that life. And so I know just intuitively that this guy's mad at this guy and this woman screwed over this person. Like you just know everything about the scene and you feel the scene for a moment. And then something you can just, once I have that impression of that flashbulb impression, I can go back to the memory of it inside of me and I can read more because I can look up the memory of it. I think it's really interesting. Now that was in my 40s. I figured that out. Okay. Like after already 10, 15 years of being spiritual, being psychic, doing readings. So you shouldn't think that you're going to like just magically, remember your past lives right off the bat. And don't worry, you're not going to like pretend yourself into one. Like there's a lot of like, that's just your imagination. You're just coming up with that. No one does that. Honestly, the truth is you have so many clues that become so obvious. The thing that freaks you out is like, it can't not be that obvious, right? That many clues are the same thing. Like it's too obvious. Like if anything, it's so like in your face, you just have a hard time believing it. So as I was doing readings over the years, I did more and more past lives. And as I started to get better in mine, I could help navigate with my clients, and I started seeing them. And now I'll see their past lives in a reading all the time, and I read it. But I learned how to find in the chart indicators of what I saw. That's what the magic is here. I saw a bridge between right? Oh, I see. Right. And I could see. And those little pieces of my knowledge as an astrologer, we built into a program called the 40 Days of Past Life and Karma, where you are getting a tour of your past lives through the signs of your chart. Okay. But you're doing it by also recollecting childhood, because your childhood is an exact buildup of your past lives. What you live, especially in the step system. So we have the 11 steps of Sirius Joy. Age 0 to 11 is a step every year. Every year of your life is a step. 0, 1 is step 1. In the first year of life, you're learning self-love. In the second year of life, you're learning your feelings, the terrible twos. In your third year of your life, you're learning what you believe in the world. And you expand and wake up every state of awareness, and then it just starts to compound. In those times, especially, everything that happens to you is faded. Because as you're programming those primary 11 steps, age 0 to 11, what's happening in your life right there are direct recreations, like plays that go on that basically do this play in front of you as a child, where you watch the world as if this is the world, and you're programming that this is the world, but you're programming actually what was the last past life worlds that you've been accustomed to. And this builds your subconscious with your past life memories. So in the program, what we do is we go through a tour of our childhood, match it up with certain things in the sky, match it up with certain things in your astrology, and then you just basically answer questions. And you answer the questions, and you'll be seeing like, oh my God, this is so clear now why this happens. And I can't even explain to you more than that, because it's so personal, it's so deep, and there's no way it's fake, because you know you. And you know this has been it all the whole time. We're just going, hey, just check this out, check out this part. So it's a great program. It's a great time to take it, because we're about to go through a transition in life on the earth where people are waking up to their past lives and changing. So they're like not playing the game anymore. So things are moving around fast, or people are still stuck with their past lives and they're still playing that game. And they're playing that game as the world cooks and gets more intense. So you want to know what's your game, what's your past life karma, who you come from, the lifetimes you've lived, the pains you've had, the wounds that you're healing. And it's simply just journaling for 40 days, because we follow the astrology exactly for 40 days. And I'll go into why 40. I have a lot of questions I can answer to you when you actually take a look at the program. So we are going to be putting out links tomorrow. And I think you can buy tickets tonight even, but don't test it yet. We'll send you there. But I wanted you to know why it's so important. Take it. It's affordable. It's in a journal. It's private. And it's a self-driven class. I'm not telling you who you are. You are telling you who you are. That's cool, huh? All right. 40 days of past life and karma. And actually, we're doing something funny with me and Scott on LOL, by the way, Leading Out Loud. We're going to do 40 days of our past lives and karma. And we're looking at them actually that we've had together, and it's going to be fun. All right. So moving forward, we have one more question, too, maybe 1 or 2. And we're done for today only. Yeah, move this down for this. 5 degrees sun in Virgo. Eloise, is that right? Eloise? I hope I said that right. That's a pretty name. 13 Aquarius rising. Holy moly. The sun was on your rising with the full moon yesterday. That's crazy. 19 Grandmaster, 19 Taurus moon. So 17 moon. So this is a person who is manifesting very much at the proficient level, but based on what their thoughts, their personal thoughts are. So they're manifesting a very personal life in public. How can I heal and transform my relationship with my family? See, there you go. Healing personal stuff and family. No, I'm kidding. How can I heal and transform my relationship with my family? Okay. Oh gosh, that's a deep one. Here's why. I'll tell you. I don't think you're supposed to necessarily heal and transform your relationship with your family. You should know that you don't have to. What I've learned now is that you just have to learn what the lesson is. In my case, in most cases I know too of other practitioners, the family's not getting it. Like they're not getting it. They're not going down that path. They don't want to go down that path. They don't want to think like you. They don't want to think like me. My family doesn't want to think like me. They don't want to follow these terms. For whatever reason, they're like, no, you're full of shit. That's what I'm doing. And so I think our mistake in our family is that we're trying to teach each other like the best way to go. And lately in the last, 2 years, I've been like, just do you and I'll do me. And it's all good because I know it's just a game and we'll see each other and have a drink at the bar in heaven. It's like, that's going to be kind of what it comes down to. And I used to feel guilty about that, like not caring. Like, oh, you don't care about your family? God. And I was like, no, I do care. But God, if it is just a simulation and we're just here to learn stuff, I'll fucking see you back at school. You know what I mean? Like, get out of here. You're screwing up my game. You know, like, why are we, if we're going to be awake, why are we putting these pressures on ourselves? So I don't know if you're meant to. What you're meant to realize is this: your family makes you treat yourself a certain way. And that's what you're learning. Whenever you're with them, you treat yourself a certain way. That's the problem. Why? Well, for lots of reasons. That's the 40 days of past life and karma question. Why? Because of all sorts of scatterings of wounds and things like that you've had. That's why. You know, and only you, that takes a while to learn. But all you need to know is to stop. Because what it's trying to teach you is to, okay, well then stop doing that. Treat yourself the way you deserve to be treated when you're with your family. It's never about how your family treats you. And that's the irony. We think that how people treat us is a reflection of who we are. Not quite. It's that how we treat ourselves in the inside draws in a replica of that kind of concept in the outer world. The outer world is a film projector of how we're treating ourselves on the inside. That's what the outer world is. It's this film projector that we're always watching. We thought it was that way what things were. We didn't know it was a film projector of our inner self. So the way you treat yourself is how people are attracted to you and what they do to you. And so try changing how you treat yourself first and see what happens in your family. A lot of times they just stop doing it. And you're like, what? Like literally, Lightworkers tell me their family stops doing it. Stops when they treat themselves differently. Like you didn't have to talk to your mom. You just talk to yourself nicer. Try it. Especially as an Aquarius rising. Because you're here to do magic in that sense. That's a good ending. Okay, good wrap up there. Un más, por favor. Un más. Nancy, 5 sun. Ooh, another 5. 2 5 still alive. 5, step 5 Pisces sun, step 25. Look at that. 25s, guys. These 25 risings. These spiritual people. Now, this is more of a nun. 25 Cancer rising. Like Cancer rising is more of a spiritual caretaker, more so than a spiritual leader. Leader in the sense of from the back, behind the scenes. And step 12 Aries moon. There's that 12 again. Mm-hmm. Can I expect an improvement in my financial situation soon? Oh, I say that because, I mean, yes. And you know why you can? Because you said you will. Like at the end of the day, anyone's worried about money, anyone's worried about these things. Now, I myself am having just as many problems as you are, just as many problems, financially, everything. You know, stretched to the very bone, to the very wire. I mean, honestly, I don't think most people could be as on the edge as I am and be as calm as I am. That's a definite tribute to my talent. Like how many times I've been here, you get to a point where you just don't sweat it anymore, for one, right? You can't sweat it. And I have to know that, you know, you learn how to fly the plane. The other part too is financials is like, we don't understand fully how money works. First of all, as a spirit, we don't know how to manifest. There's that. We don't know how to value ourselves. There's that. We don't know how to protect our value. There's that. But then also there are cheaters in the game. There are corporations cheating. There are governments cheating. Everyone's cheating everywhere, guys, everywhere. And so I don't even know if we can read as a free market. People say to me, will you use astrology to predict the stock market? No. You know why? Because it's not based on astrology. It's based on people's hands, computers, programs. It's being cheated. I know it. I feel it psychically. Every psychic I know says, yes, of course, it's being cheated. Well, why are we talking about it? This is shitty. Right? We're basing all of our, and you're sitting there feeling bad with your finances when there's people everywhere cheating. So there's all the people who are not doing nice, and we all know it, and Congress people who are taking bribes, all that stuff, inside trading. Come on. You know, I'm not trying to be political. I'm being a citizen. This is bullshit. It's kind of cool. You can't do that. Not cool. Not fucking cool. Right? Not because of the law, because it's not cool. You know what I mean? Like to anyone, to treat a person like that, to take advantage of another person is just not cool. So we're at the point now where we're fed up with that, and you don't know how things manifest actually. And even if they could manifest actually, there's people cheating and trying to change stuff all the time. So everyone's in a financial pinch at the moment. But here's what's about to happen. The world's about to just explode in innovation. Explode. Remember the explosion of the .coms in the 90s? You know, it was like Yahoo, and then Google came along and cheated. That's what happened. But the point is like that was a huge span. Remember, maybe you thought Yahoo would be the number one search engine, but it turned out to be Google. So much technology just boom and exploded. We had the boom. We had cities built. We had like San Francisco and cities like that suddenly had all their nasty industrial like turned into cool, corporate, campuses and stuff. And it all was like within 10 years. We're there again, but you can multiply by 10 because we're at a point where we innovated all the basic stuff. And now that all the basic stuff is no longer basic, now you can go to like huge mega growth. So you will find a way to make a shift flow of money in just a couple minutes. Everyone will if they just open up their eyes and do it. I don't think it's to leave anybody behind. AI is part of it for sure, but there's many things. Everything's being reinvented. So don't worry. You must be sitting around trying to figure out some of your spiritual stuff. That's why it's taking so long. Thanks for the question, Nancy. It's a good question. That wasn't very personal for Pisces stuff, though, I have to say. So I apologize for that. But the truth of the matter is it's still true. In particular, just one little disclaimer of that, because I don't think I talked about her chart very much. For you have been working on healing your self-worth for a long time with Chiron in your second house. I mean, with Chiron in Aries for Pisces. And so really Pisces have just forgiven themselves. And so basically your financial cloud is going to be up because the cloud around you is going to go up. You're going to realize you're good. And so there's no reason to slow things down. So I think some of it is Pisces just deliberately guilting themselves into a slower pace with money, but that's over. All right. These classes are going to be crazy. I think that's going to be the end of our show. Wait, anything else? Let me check. Oh, gosh, of course. Gwen English is going to be with us tomorrow, Tag Team Tuesday. Good colleague of mine. And by the way, if you don't know, at SiriusJoy.academy, you can actually see that we'll have this class on again coming up around the corner. It's Heart Speak Oracle, where you do a one-on-one lab with Gwen and you learn how to make your own cards. But Gwen herself also does a ton of stuff at Sirius Joy, including help develop all of our programming with education and our step system. And she'll be here to talk about it. So, we'll see how much she's going to talk about it. I don't want to leave too much out, but come to SiriusJoy Academy to learn more about her class, and we'll have her tomorrow as our special guest. If you don't know, we're cycling through our whole staff, and I'll say right now, I don't know how to do it yet, but we'll put it online. If you are a reader, right? If you have a reading business, if you're a light worker and you have a reading business, and we'll qualify what business means. It means it's starting to make money, you know what I mean? And that's because, we have to get to that point on your own. But then when you're in that point where you've got your stuff ready, you got your doors open, your website's up, and everything's ready, we'd like to have a lot of people up here and do a tag team reading. So I'd love to tag team with a lot of you. We'll be talking about that in the near future. All right, friends. I think that's all we have for today. Remember, be mindful of your heart. Form your thoughts from what your heart's telling you. And I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. Live, love, be. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at SiriusJoytv. Please click like on this video, and if you don't mind, hit the bell button so you're notified, so we collectively defeat the algorithm overlords. The Sirius Joy Nonlinear TV network is simulcasting right now on many media affiliates, including Instagram,